Okay, everybody, in my last video, we created the HTML structure and a series of pages for your design patterns library. And I realized that one of the things we're going to do is we're going to play around with some layout on our page. And for that, I recommend we use Bootstrap. And we're going to use the latest version of Bootstrap, Bootstrap 4, which is somewhere over here. There we go. So we're going to go to getbootstrap.com. And we want to get started, right? I'm going to do Bootstrap 4. And one of the things here, we've got quick start. Copy and paste the style sheet link into your head before all other style sheets to load our CSS. So you just go right on here, or you can click copy. And notice we're using Bootstrap 4.0.0 CSS. So we're going to go to our document. Right after the title, before anything else, go ahead and paste that in. And one of the things you're doing here is you're going to the Max CDN site, which has Bootstrap. You notice we're using Bootstrap 4, so you want to look at their documentation. It's a little different from the Bootstrap 3, which is a little different from Bootstrap version 2. Okay. And let's go back and make sure we got everything here. Oh, the other thing is you're going to want that link in all of your pages. So I created an index page, and then I had a UI element, so I'm going to add it in there. Again, after the title, I'm going to add a little thing here, so I'm going to put UI elements, okay, on my title there. And I'm going to do the same thing for media. So go into media. Looks like I already added that media part there. After my title, hit enter, paste. I got my link to Bootstrap. And let's just double check. Do I have it on index? Yep. UI elements and media. So those are the files I wanted it on. I'm going to go back to Bootstrap. I'm going to take a look at Bootstrap. You notice there's some JavaScript. Okay. So a lot of the components on Bootstrap, if you want to take advantage of them, you might want to grab some of these jQuery and some of these JavaScript plugins, which we've got several here. We've got jQuery, one called popper.js, and one for Bootstrap. So if you think you're going to use those, you can copy those. And generally, people recommend you put your JavaScript at the bottom of your page right before you close the body tag. I'm going to go ahead and do that because I'd rather have it available, even if I end up not using it. It's just several scripts that, you know, I may or may not use them. I'm going to grab them now so that I have them available. So after you put the style sheet link, go down to the bottom of your page right before you close the body and paste them in there. And I'm going to tab these over like so. So notice I just copied and pasted those in. I'm going to just highlight all of this and copy that and do the same for all my other pages. So I go to the UI elements, and now I'm going to highlight between the end of the section and the beginning of the body, and I'm going to paste, just like I have it there. And by doing that, I made sure that they lined up. But if it's off a little and you need to tab, go ahead and tab it, make it look clean. And I'm going to do the same thing for index page, like so. Now I got to save all my pages. So I'm going to do a file, save all. And cancel. There must have been a page, Untitled. I'm just going to close Untitled. I don't need it. There we go. Okay, so a couple things I want to show you is that once you add your link to the style sheet, let's take a look and see what that index page looks like. So you're going to want to launch that in a browser. Hold on a second. Sorry, I had this extra window open. I'm going to close that. And so what you're going to want to do is launch it in a browser. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And this is what I get. So because I added the Bootstrap, I got some elements, some styles already applied. Now, the advantage of Bootstrap is we can use the grid, and that's good. But the disadvantage is now there's a bunch of styles being applied. You're going to have to override that because you are going to make your own original styles. And that's kind of the point. But we're going to take advantage of the grid and some of the other elements, and then we'll learn about overriding styles, which is a very handy skill to have. Okay, so we're going to work off of Bootstrap and then just make some changes wherever necessary. First thing I want to do is create a two-column layout. And we're going to do this navbar across the top, and then we're going to have a 2-column layout. And we're going to use Bootstrap to sort of generate that to begin with. And then you can decide how you want to do the layout, some of those things. Okay. Let's just begin by creating the grid, and we're going to use the Bootstrap grid system. Now, Bootstrap version 4 has changed the way the grid system works. It's now using Flexbox, and it's fully responsive. So that's something that they didn't used to use Flexbox before. And if you're familiar with Bootstrap, you're going to notice a change. If you don't specify the size of your columns, right, what you can do is you can have an outer container, and in your container, you create a row. Each row signifies a row of columns, right? So one row equals all the columns you see here. In this case, there's 3 columns. Each div has a div where it has a class of call small, or SM is for small. Now, what does it mean by small? Well, let's go up a little bit here and talk about their overview of the breakpoints. So we have these breakpoints. We have different devices. We have small devices, which would be 576 pixels on up, medium devices, 768 pixels, large, and extra large. So we have these different breakpoints. The SM is for small. By the way, extra small means no matter what size it is, even if it's smaller than 576 pixels wide, then we'll include it. So if we do call SM for small, we are identifying basically any device that is at least 576 pixels wide. So let's just go ahead and try that out. And we'll make 2 evenly sized containers. So one of the things we're going to do is we have that section that has a class of main, and we have a section with a class of page. We're going to change this up a little bit. I'd like you to take that section that says class of page and change it to container. So change the class on that top section to container, and let's see what it does to the page. Hit refresh. Oops. That didn't really do much. Okay. We'll deal with that a little bit later. We're going to go to this section with the class of main, and we're going to go back to our Bootstrap. Let me just close this for now. And if you notice, there needs to be a class of row and then a class of call SM small. So I'm just going to copy that right there. I'm going to go back to our page, and we're going to change this class of main. We're not going to change it. We're just going to add row. Okay. And then the article, we're going to give this a class of call small. And, oops, sorry, wrong one. And on the side, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to save our changes, and let's see what the index page looks like now. Oh, we don't have anything in our content, so let's just add a sample here. H2 article goes here. Or I could put pattern samples go here. And I'll put a header 2, page nav goes here. I'm going to save our changes, and let's see those columns display. There we go. So now we have a 2-column. They are the same. So what we're going to want to do is take the grid system, and we're going to want to switch the order of these and change them so that they're not evenly spaced. Okay, so a couple things we're going to do. Now, you can go look at the full documentation on grids, and you're probably going to want to look at it. But for time's sake, I'm going to just do this for you. So one of the things we want to do is we want to make our article be larger. So what we're going to do is where it says column.sm for small, we're going to add 9. Now, the way this works is there are 12 columns in all. And if we don't specify with the number, they'll be all evenly spaced. If we specify on one, small at -9, this will be 9 out of 12. And so it'll be 2/3 of your page. And when you hit refresh, that's what it looks like. Okay, so the page now. Now, the only problem is we have our pattern samples on the left and our page nav on the right. I want to swap the order of those two. And so in the grid system, what you can do is you can add an order to it. So I believe it's order -1, and then we'll do, oh, no, I want to change that. I want to do order -1 here, order -2 here, and it should swap the order of those. Let's see if that works, and it does. So now we can put our page nav on the left, we can put this on the right, and then all we need to do now is style our nav. And so one of the things we're going to do here is I am going to teach you a little flex box on the nav, and we're just going to do it live on our CSS. In order to do that, we're going to need a CSS page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on here. I'm going to create a new file, and then this one, we're just going to call it styles.css. Okay, and we have our styles here. Okay. And then we're going to put our nav bar first. This is we're going to do our nav bar. Okay, I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to split it to the right. So we have our styles on the right, and then I want to look at the index on the left. And we already have a link to the style sheet for Bootstrap. We need to put this link afterward. And in this, no, that's kind of interesting. They went ahead and gave me that. I'm just going to put styles. And I don't need a /. Okay, I'm going to save my changes. And then we're going to start styling this. So we're going to style everything in the navs. We're going to put a .main nav UL. I'm going to put a list, style type of none. Save my changes here. Save my changes here. Go to my page, hit refresh. Bullets are gone. And we're going to proceed to do some more styling. And we're going to put a margin of 0 and a padding of 0. Just usually we're just zeroing out the styles that are being used. Hit refresh. Everything's on the left. Okay. And then I think I need to do it on the LI. I forgot I said we would do this as a flex box. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our UL and we're going to display it as flex. Save our changes. And right away, we now have our bulleted list with some styles on here. We're going to add just a few more styles so that our buttons look a little more normal. So we're going to target the .main nav ULA. And now we're going to add a little bit of padding, 0.5 EM, 1 EM. We're going to add a little background color. We're going to just do a form of gray. Save our changes, hit refresh, and now we have our bullet points out. We're going to get rid of our text decoration, none. Hit refresh. Oh, it was only on hover. Oh, yeah, and on the hover, it doesn't work anymore, so you don't have those underlines there. And so we're just going to start going through here, adding some styles to the nav bar. Let's style what it looks like when we hover over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that selector, and I'm going to add little hover. On our hover, what I want to do is switch the background color and the color. So we must be using a color. And I'll do a 111. And then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it. And now I'm going to swap the background color and the color on hover. So I'm just going to cut that, paste it there, save my changes. And so notice rather than swapping the color codes, I just moved that background dash to the other color code. Hit refresh. Let's go back here. Highlight. Bam. There we go. We've added some style. Everything's all squished in. But look at how easy that is using Flexbox. Just by displaying it as flex, it allows me to make it displayed horizontally. And then I just played around with padding, color, background color, got rid of the underlines for the hyperlinks, and then created a hover effect. Okay. So I'm getting to the point now where I'm running low on time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this where it is. So we have the general outline. And the reason why I'm not going to spend a lot of time just yet is that part of your design patterns is to design the colors, the nav bar, and all of those things. So I didn't want to spend a lot of time going into it, and a lot of that's going to be your job. What I want to do is on the next video, start inserting some of the design elements that would be essential for any good design patterns library. So, and then I'll give you suggestions for other ones to do, how to maybe set it up for display. And then if we want to play around with the styles and some of those things, maybe we'll do that on a later video. So stay tuned.